The Mid-Autumn Festival, a time of family, unity, and tradition. At the heart of it all is the mooncake, a cherished symbol of harmony and completeness. But this year, that symbol has been shattered. Across the internet, the evidence went viral. A mooncake so hard, it sparks against an industrial lathe, refusing to break. A salted egg yolk cut open to reveal a counterfeit, born from a bizarre chemical paste. And a pastry perfectly preserved for over a decade. A food that simply will not die. These were the disturbing scenes at home. But it was a discovery made thousands of miles away that sent the real shockwaves across the globe, raising a terrifying question. What is really inside these festive treats? The story begins in the United States, where Chinese-American communities were preparing for the festival, seeking a taste of home. But what they found instead was a disturbing warning. One man, shopping at a Costco, documented his findings in a video that would soon go viral. He points his camera at a lavishly decorated gift box, explicitly made in China for the American market.
那么其中这一款呢是大的这个美心的一个7斤半明月。
A beautiful box of mooncakes like this sells for $62 in the US. But let's read the ingredients in the warning. Do you see it clearly? They clearly state cancer and reproductive harm. And on the side of the box, it's clearly written for USA market only. Now let's look at their smaller paper box version. Look, they also clearly state the warning: cancer and reproductive harm.
The question was immediate and chilling. If this is the required standard for products sent abroad, what are the standards for the tens of millions of mooncakes sold back home? This wasn't an isolated case. Another woman, after purchasing mooncakes in a local Chinatown, found the exact same warning label and decided to explain to her followers precisely what it meant.
前2天我不是在中国城买了一个月饼吗？然后我发现。
It's telling you that using this product may expose you to chemicals, lead, and bisphenol A, or BPA. These two substances are identified in California as potentially causing cancer, birth defects, or other reproductive harm. All the mooncakes here have this warning sign. I just don't know what it's like in China. Do mooncake boxes in China have this kind of warning?
Her question gets to the heart of a long-standing and documented problem. The warnings on these boxes are linked to the use of powerful chemical preservatives. One key culprit identified in reports is sodium dihydroacetate, a low-cost but highly effective preservative that has been widely used in China's food industry for over 2 decades. Despite its effectiveness at preventing mold, independent studies have linked its long-term consumption to potential damage to the liver, kidneys, and central nervous system. While China has finally scheduled a ban on this substance in pastries for February 2025, the danger is very current. In August of this year, South Korea's Ministry of Food and Drug Safety issued 3 emergency recall orders for mooncakes imported from China. The reason? They were found to contain this very preservative, which is banned in South Korea. The company involved wasn't some unknown factory, but Shenyang Daoxiankun, a celebrated prism. China time-honored brand. A name trusted by millions. The warnings on the boxes were a sign of what was hidden inside. But back in China, the evidence of a problem was something you could see and touch. In one case, a man named Mr. Zhou reported that his 90-year-old father, while cleaning his home, stumbled upon a box of mooncakes he had forgotten about. The packaging was perfectly intact. The production date printed on the box was August 2010. For over a decade, the mooncake had sat there, yet it showed no signs of mold or decay. The most stunning detail, the box clearly stated the manufacturer's recommended shelf life, 45 days. A shocking video revealed how old mooncakes are being sold as new. A woman peels back 3 layers of stickers on a single box. The top one said it was made this year, the next said 2024, and the bottom one said 2023. Her conclusion? It's a genuine 3-year-old mooncake. And this wasn't a one-off. Others came forward with their own mummified pastries. One user showed off a mooncake from 2011, preserved for 13 years, noting its color was still alluring, and that the old packaging didn't even have an ingredient list to check for preservatives. Another shop owner revealed a cake that had sat on her shelf for an incredible 15 years, still in its original wrapper, without a single spot of mold. This unnatural longevity was matched by an unnatural durability. In one video that quickly went viral, a man takes a heavy kitchen knife to a simple baked mooncake. He pushes, he saws, he puts his weight into it, and nothing. The knife scrapes uselessly across the surface. But that was just the beginning. Another user took it to an unbelievable extreme. He placed a mooncake against an industrial lathe, a powerful machine designed to cut and shape metal. The result was shocking. As the high-speed tool made contact, it barely managed to scratch the golden brown crust. The mooncake was so hard, it was essentially a rock, a pastry that defied industrial machinery. But the scandals went beyond just preservatives and durability. A new wave of videos exposed something even more cynical. Outright fakery of the most prized ingredient, the salted egg yolk. Shocking video from Douyin revealed the process of creating artificial egg yolks. In this bizarre chemical alchemy, workers mix globules of orange powder and liquid into a paste, roll it into a ball, and then bake it to create a counterfeit yolk, which is then placed inside the mooncake. Another consumer posted a video of the result. He had bought a double yolk mooncake, and when he cut the yolk in half, it had a rubbery, gelatinous texture, a lifeless counterfeit of the real thing. The public's reaction was one of disgust and betrayal, perfectly captured by one man who held up his own mooncake to the camera.
So, can this year's mooncake still sell? I have a double yolk one in my hand. Should I eat it or not? Oh my god. I never thought the double yolk in this mooncake was made like this. It seems mooncake sales will drop again this year.
The ultimate test, however, came not from machines or lab reports, but from nature itself. One man, curious and skeptical, conducted a simple overnight experiment. When he left several of these mooncakes on his balcony, next to a plain, ordinary steamed bun. The next morning, the results were clear.
Look, only this plain steamed bun was eaten by the mouse. The others haven't been touched at all. I left 3 mooncakes here, and even the mouse wouldn't eat them.
And it wasn't just mice. Dog owners posted videos of their pets sniffing the mooncakes and then turning away in clear disgust. One owner can be heard pleading with his puppy.
Eat it, just one bite. This is very expensive.
But the dog firmly refuses. The message from these impromptu experiments was undeniable. Through extreme preservation, unnatural hardness, and counterfeit ingredients, the modern mooncake had, in many cases, been rendered completely unrecognizable as food. Even animals knew something was profoundly wrong. So, if the products sold to the public can be this bad, so hard they defy industrial machinery, so old they outlast their shelf life by more than a decade, and so fake they're made from chemical powders, the unavoidable question is, why? Why is this allowed to happen on such a massive scale? The answer, it seems, lies not in what's available to the public, but in what is carefully and secretly reserved for the powerful. While citizens were grappling with inedible and counterfeit pastries, an image began circulating on social media that exposed the stark reality of a two-tiered system. The packaging is understated, elegant. The name itself speaks of ultimate authority. Handmade mooncakes from the Great Hall of the People. This is not a commercial brand. This is a product made for the highest echelons of the Chinese Communist Party. The ingredient list is a revelation in its simplicity. Wheat flour, white sugar, melon seeds, black sesame, maltose, vegetable oil. These are simple, wholesome ingredients you would find in a traditional kitchen. But it's what is not on the list that tells the real story. There is no mention of potassium sorbate, no sodium dihydroacetate, no complex chemical stabilizers. The packaging proudly states, no food additives, no preservatives. The shelf life is a mere 40 days, a natural lifespan for a freshly baked product. And at the bottom of the bag, A line of small print draws a clear and unmistakable line between the rulers and the ruled. An internal custom-made food for the CCP, prohibited from being sold in commercial supermarkets. It is a tale of two mooncakes, a perfect metaphor for two Chinas. On one side, for the 1.4 billion citizens, there are the immortal cakes, a product of industrial chemistry designed for maximum shelf life and minimum cost, with counterfeit ingredients and a texture that can break a knife. On the other side, for the CCP's elite, there are the handmade cakes, a product of a kitchen, not a laboratory, made with pure ingredients and consumed fresh, completely insulated from the dangers facing the rest of the population. This isn't just a coincidence. According to analysts, it is the very essence of the system. Lai Zhongping, a former Beijing lawyer, argues that while the CCP's official slogan is to serve the people wholeheartedly, this special supply system reveals the truth. It is a regime built on privilege, where the leadership class enjoys special treatment in everything, from housing and healthcare to the very food they eat, all while exploiting the general population. But Chinese-Canadian writer Sheng Shui offers an even more chilling explanation for why China's food safety crisis has become, in her words, an unsolvable issue. She points out that this special supply system extends to nearly all goods, creating a protective bubble around the elite. Sheng Shui says,
"The core interest group of CCP officials has no contact with these toxic foods. The problem isn't relevant to them. High-ranking officials will never come into contact with these things, so the CCP has no need to solve this problem. In the end, it is always the ordinary people who suffer."
Her point is devastatingly simple. If the people in charge never have to worry about eating a 15-year-old mooncake or a counterfeit egg yolk, what incentive do they have to enforce the rules and fix the problem for everyone else? The public outcry, the viral videos, the widespread illness, none of it affects them or their families. So the crisis isn't just a result of lax regulation or a few bad factories. It is a feature of a system designed to protect the powerful at the expense of the public. The fallout from these scandals was not confined to social media outrage or kitchen experiments. It spilled onto the streets, creating a real-world economic disaster for an industry that depends entirely on this short festive season. The combination of health scares, inedible products, and a deeply struggling economy created a perfect storm, leading to a market in absolute freefall. This year, the streets that should have been bustling with shoppers, vibrant, noisy hubs of commerce, were transformed into commercial ghost towns. A vlogger captured this bleak reality, walking down a long, empty street, lined with vendors and their piles of unsold inventory. The silence is deafening.
Along this whole long street of mooncakes, no one's business is good. There's nothing to be done. For example, this box of mooncakes, last year it could still sell for 88 yuan. This year it's directly cut in half. There's not that much money to be made. This year's mooncakes are just being sold off chaotically like this.
Her words paint a picture of pure desperation. This wasn't just a slow sales season. It was a catastrophic failure, a complete collapse of consumer demand. Even those inside the industry, the people who have been making and selling mooncakes for years, were left bewildered by the sudden halt. One man in the business described the atmosphere among his peers.
This year's mooncakes are very difficult to sell. They're not moving at all. Those in the mooncake business are all confused. What's the scene now? It's just everyone staring at each other. You look at me, I look at you. I've never seen a situation like this.
He acknowledges that the industry's own practices have fueled the public's skepticism. He points to the impossibly long ingredient lists and the public's growing awareness of what they mean.
Many people online are joking, saying, "Look at the ingredient list of this mooncake. It's long enough to write a book. Would you dare to eat a mooncake like that?" Before the festival, it's sold for 38 yuan. After the festival, it's sold for 1.8 yuan. Everyone is wondering, what is the actual cost of a mooncake? If it's really 1.8 yuan, then can the ingredients be any good?
But to truly understand the collapse, you have to listen to the consumers themselves. In a sharp, clear-eyed analysis, one young woman broke down exactly why the public has turned its back on this tradition. She explained that it's not one single issue, but three powerful forces working together.
The first reason is that everyone is now paying more attention to their health. The traditional mooncakes we eat are high in oil and sugar, high in fat, and sickeningly sweet. They have no benefits for the body at all. The second reason is that everyone knows mooncakes have a lot of additives. Can our old bodies handle eating that stuff all the time?
But her third point is perhaps the most crucial, as it connects the food crisis to a much larger national anxiety about the economy.
The third reason is that this thing has a very low price-performance ratio. It's because ordinary people have too little spare money on hand now. The domestic and international situation is not stable. Otherwise, many people wouldn't even have jobs. In the past, people would buy mooncakes to give to relatives and friends. Now, everyone is thinking about spending less on unnecessary things and saving money for emergencies. Who would be willing to spend so much on mooncakes?
Her words reveal a profound shift. The mooncake is no longer seen as an affordable tradition, but as a frivolous and risky expense in a time of deep economic uncertainty. This crisis of trust was then cemented by revelations of outright fraud. The case of Hong Kong Meicheng mooncakes became a symbol of this deception. Promoted by a top influencer who claimed sales of over 1 million units, the brand was marketed as a premium product with black truffles, crafted by a Michelin-starred chef. But investigations revealed that while the company was registered in Hong Kong, it had no actual stores there. The mooncakes were being mass-produced on the mainland in Guangzhou and Foshan. One critic perfectly described the business model as hanging a sheep's head to sell dog meat. It was the final nail in the coffin, confirming the public's worst fears, that the industry was rife with deception, from the chemical ingredients inside the cake to the very name on the box. The mooncake scandal is about more than just a spoiled holiday pastry. It has become a mirror reflecting the deep fractures in modern Chinese society. What began with a warning label in an American supermarket has unraveled into a nationwide story of chemical preservatives, counterfeit ingredients, and a profound public betrayal. We've seen the evidence, the immortal mooncakes that defy industrial machinery, the cynical fraud of artificial egg yolks, and the voices of a public that is fed up, fearful, and financially strained. This is a story about a broken food safety system with dangerous double standards, and a deep divide between a protected elite and a public left to navigate a minefield of hazardous products. Ultimately, it is a crisis of trust, in food, in business, and in the system itself, eroded by years of scandals and economic hardship. The mooncake, a cherished symbol of family and harmony, has become a source of division and fear. It has exposed a society that is fractured and hungry for the truth.